Welcome to Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Child Abuse Awareness with Darlene J. Clark. Be a part of this solution instead of part of the problem. We want people to come in, chat, support. I found some interesting things, and a lot of times we as parents, we might be aggravated, we might be frustrated, we might have anger issues about dealing with your kids. But how do you go about dealing with them? We need to make sure that we correct our children. You're responsible for your actions, but there are proper ways in which you should correct your children. I think a lot of parents today just sit their kids in front of the TV sets. They let the TV and electronics be their babysitters. You need to show your kids that they are important. Spend time with them, quality time. Play ball with them out in the yard, play chase with them. Or if you're not able to physically do that, you can do arts and crafts with them. Take them shopping with you. Listen to music. I used to get down on the floor and play with my kids. Sometimes had a record that was a Disney record, and I got down on the floor. We mimicked and acted out the what was being sung. The green grass grew all around and around, and green grass grew around, and then there was a hole in the ground, and grass, grew all around and around. So we mimicked it. We role played. We moved our hands in the sink, made little holes and stuff like that. Um, so pretty much make sure that you show your kids that they are important. Make sure that you listen to your kids. If there's anybody that wants to come up and discuss issues or discuss in their life, I'm fixing to put the link up right there if you want to come in and join. Anything you want to share? I'm sorry, your mic's not working. Hey there, Jackie. Good to see you. You want to come up and talk? Feel free to. What do y'all think the biggest hurdle is with the being a parent today? And I've seen some interesting news today, thanks to Predator Report at Facebook, and I shared it with everyone at Facebook. And let me go to my profile thing right quick and share it with you. All right, in Decatur, Georgia, a hotel is ordered to pay $40 million to a victim who was trafficked more than 200 times at the facility. You would not believe some of the people's responses. Some of the people said, well, she went downstairs and she bought condoms. She could have told them to call. Do you not know that that sounds plausible to most people, but people that don't know? She probably had people watching her, right? So there's no way she could have escaped. She might have tried different times. They knew that she was a missing person on top of that. And yet she was seeing them go with these different guys. And they said, oh, the staff did not know that she was actually being sexually exploited. Excuse me? When they were providing her with the condoms. Safeguarding kids on the internet is very important. You got that right. Would you come on up and talk to us about it? Anybody wants to get up in the box? I'll be glad. I'll put the link down here again. What are ways in which we safeguard our kids? So many of kids, when you go to look at their devices, they're like, it's none of your business. Yes, it is your business. You, as a parent, is responsible. I had seen an app, I can't remember what the name of it is, but when your kid mentions something like sex, or if they show a picture of them being a cut on them, the parent will get the picture to their phone and it will show. The parent will be alerted if the kid did any hurt, self harm. But the bad thing about that is when you got predators as parents, and so that's kind of scary in itself too. But the predators as parents usually don't let the kids have a cell phone. um, so please, y'all come on up here and let's talk about what's going on with y'all's life. I think it's pretty interesting. You correct, you coach, you connect, and you build a foundation with your kids. You need to have a fresh perspective on disciplining your children. You need to let them know that they are safe with you. You might say it, but does a kid actually feel that they are safe with you? Are they safe to come to you and tell you when they got a problem? Are they like, Mom, this guy's messing with me. Hey, Mom, are you just making them go outside and just get away from me? Are you checking on your kids? Are you making sure their environment outside is safe? Kids are not free to explore outside like we used to. So many kids are missing. And you need to make sure that you let your kids know that you are loved no matter what, that they are capable to do things. I'm going to put the link back up again continuously. I like y'all to have a voice. You need to know that you are responsible for your actions, right? So your messages that the kid will have when you treat them so well and you spend time, you said, I am safe with mom and dad. I am loved no matter what. I am capable. I am responsible for my actions. You want your child to actually have the self esteem, right? Then you got to have the ability to stay calm and loving for your kids during anger and meltdowns. How are you going to, if your kid's having a meltdown, what you going to do? Do you have safe avenues to where your kid, when they have a meltdown? Or are you right there having a meltdown too and scaring the kid even more? How do you do that? I never dealt with a kid that had a meltdown. So if anybody that's on here that's got a kid that had to deal with that, feel free to come up here and discuss that. Practical strategies when emotions are strong to build wisdom and responsibility in the kids. Unexpected joy finding the strengths hidden behind your kids' challenges. Basically, you let your kid be a kid, and you go and you spend time. Make sure they know that you are there for them. Okay, like I was getting at, the internet safety. When a kid says no, you don't need to look at my phone. There's a problem. Okay, you need to be able to look at your phone, see who your kids are in contact with. Right. You need to see your messages that your kids have written. So let me find something right here. Get you want me to look up. You got to be sure to have a bond with your children. Let me look up some internet safety tip. Okay, sorry. I know I got plenty of them around. You know, I should put more than internet safety tips because all they want to do is have internet child. Make sure there's also it's Bark US, okay, parental control for computers. Number one, computer parental controls. Monitor your child's computer with KEs and get alerts on blocking alarming content. Top computer parental control software, easy to use. I think Bark is the one that I was talking about that monitors and sends to the parents when there are is something going on as well. So let me get this, share this with the internet and your kids. 18 tips for keeping your kids safe online. Okay, you want to sweep my floor, Chris? No, I done did. If anybody wants to come up, please do. I think it needs to be a bigger area right there. There we go. So when we got it right here, the internet and your kids, 18 tips for keeping your kids safe online. Talk with your kids and online risk and consider monitoring their activity. When you think back to your childhood, it's easy to see how parents' concerns have changed. They probably taught your safety lessons like looking both ways before crossing the street, to stop, drop, and roll if you ever caught on fire, to wear a helmet while riding your bike. Y'all seen the recent video not too long ago about that boy riding his bike and that car parking in the area and that little boy getting kidnapped. I never know what happened with that. If anybody knows whether that boy was returned back safe, just let me know. I'd be concerned about that. Talk about the risk of internet access. Access to people and information at all times is a given in your kids' lives. They don't know a world where that wasn't an option, but that access comes with responsibilities that they likely won't understand without some coaching. Kids are being exposed to ideas and information on the internet all the time, but they might not appreciate that they're not necessarily always getting truthful, safe, or age appropriate content. Like so many kids, you know, you could be uh, easily victimized by these predators. Try to act like they're your age. They start talking. But if you like me, you'll do this. If you really like me, you'll do that. You'll be my best friend if you, you know. And these kids go and do these, like a picture of themselves, just because they feel like, you know, they need to do that kind of thing, you know? I won't like you no more if you don't do this. That's manipulation. Please teach the kids not to fall for these predators that do these things. You don't necessarily need to talk about human trafficking with your 9-year-old child, but it's appropriate to say something about the minds of there are people out there who use the internet to do bad things. Explain the steps you're taking as a parent, as a parent, to keep them safe online, and let them know that they can talk with you about anything they have questions about. Some topics of conversation might include the importance of keeping personal information private. Don't say your location. Don't say where you go to school. Okay, like it says, don't say your name of school, your photos, or passwords. How to think critically about what they see and read. That means understanding which sources are more likely to give reliable information and how photo and video editing can manipulate the truth. The dangers of clicking on suspicious links or downloading unknown files. The risk of trying certain social media challenges. Like some people actually poured lighter fluid on their chest and lit it on fire. Why they thought that was a good idea, I really don't know. The addictive nature of the internet and the importance of disconnecting. what they should do if they're worried, upset, or scared about what they see or hear online. I want to give kudos to my friend on here, Get to Know. I'm so proud of him because he taught his kids early in different ways with predators, about predators and stuff. So if there was ever a problem, his kids did come to them. Keep tabs on their activity and tell them so. Every family is going to have a different level of comfort about what the kids should and shouldn't do online, and how involved you are in knowing about your child's online presence is a matter of your comfort level. Dr. Eshelman says that parents should feel empowered to have some oversight of what the kids are doing online, and that feels right for the family, but transparency is critical. Y'all, if y'all spot something that on the internet the kid is doing, please don't yell and scream at them. They're already having a hard time. Try to show the kid what's wrong in their behavior. They're being victimized possibly. You see that they did this action, but they felt threatened to do so or something. Don't make the kid feel worse. There's already so many kids that's unaliving themselves, that's killing themselves because of the fact that they got manipulated. They're already embarrassed and they're already crushed. Don't crush them any more than they're already crushed. Build your child up, please. If you're going to monitor your child online, it's important to make sure they know that you'll be doing that and to set expectations of what they should and shouldn't do on their devices. Dr. Eichelman advises secretly following their internet activity will diminish their trust and building and maintaining a trusting relationship. Let me make sure this is an important brother. What? Okay. There's no shortage of apps and programs available to monitor your child's activity online, each with different features. We went over that there was a school program that parents can go and it's really basically for the children. But there's been some adults, not parents, adults who went and got these apps, who went and tried to present themselves as being one of their students in these classes, right? Who put up a fake picture. And it's this apps that the schools use. So the kids could actually see the schedule, see what's going on with the classes, if you got this assignment, that assignment, whatever. But the downfall is some of these predators get access to it. Some of these predators make false accounts as a student there, and they're able to infiltrate and say that I'm a classmate. I see you in the hall sometimes. They're lying all that. And they put up that fake picture. So many kids have felt victim to that. Consider the impact on their safety online. A lot of people will ask how much time is okay for kids to spend online. It's a legitimate question, but the American Academy of Pediatrics says there isn't enough evidence to set guidelines on a quantity of time that's healthy for kids to spend online. Instead, consider the quality. There you go. Quality over quantity, okay? Quality of their internet use and what effects it has on them. Dr. Eshelman explains rather than focusing on how much time your child spends online, consider the impact of that time and how it fits into their lives and the family lives. For example, if your child is doing online research for a school project, are they having meaningful and healthy interaction with friends from school virtually? Probably okay. On the other hand, internet use shouldn't keep them from participating in other aspects of their life. Are they watching videos or playing video games online long after bedtime? Are they avoiding spending time with friends in real life? Are they scrolling through social media instead of doing their chores, practicing sports or musical instruments, or spending time with the family? Kids can have a hard time transitioning away from their devices. It's fun, It's immediate feedback, but we need to look at how that fits into the family's life. Dr. Eshelman states, we know too that there's an impact of too much screen time on mood and behavior. So talk with them if you notice any changes to find out what's driving that. Maybe it's related to their online life and maybe it's not, but it should be addressed in any case. Set rules and stick to them. Set clear boundaries. That's important in establishing a healthy online presence for your children. There aren't necessarily right or wrong answers, just like other rules in your house. Your comfort with certain activities may be different from other parents. Just like you're a stickler for eating only at the table, but the friend's family eats on the couch. Different strokes for different folks. That's okay. Like some people might work on at night, okay? So they're going to want to spend more of that certain time according to their work schedules, okay? Some things to consider. What times of the day are your kids allowed to be on their devices? When should devices be put away? I think they should be put away when you're eating, okay? Or when you're having a conversation with your parent. Please, y'all sit down. Even the parent needs off of their phone. Everybody needs off their devices, not just the child, for a positive interaction with your kids to teach them, hey, well, you matter too. I put my device aside as well. So let's have this conversation. Let's bond. Let's talk about the day. Let's study Bible. Let's study different things. Let's spend some quality time together, right? Are they allowed on their devices in the bedroom? Are there people they may and may not be associate with online? For example, are you okay with them talking with family members and school friends, but not with people they don't know in real life? See, one thing I have a problem with when I'm at my son's house is their daughter. She's in the eighth grade. She's going to the eighth grade, and she'll be up at 2 o'clock in the morning still texting somebody. And I go, do what? Who's up at this time of the day? What are the consequences of breaking the rules? And I tell my son, okay, so it gets handled. Model healthy online behavior. How you interact with your phone, tablet, computer, and other online devices makes an impression whether you realize it or not. If a parent has a screen at the dinner table or when you're riding with a riding in the car but telling the child to put their tablet away, they're not going to understand why, Dr. Elman points out. They should see you disconnecting from the online world too. See you interacting with people in real life. Modeling that behavior is very important. So you don't say, do it because I tell you so. You model it if you don't want your child on a device. But a lot of times, have y'all ever seen games that you can have in a car like bingo? And then all of a sudden they pass that little thing, and okay, there's a ice cream shop. So ice cream is on there, so they can mark that. Little games like that make them realize the outside world, what they're passing, their general areas. But they're stuck in devices in the car. They're not going to know their general areas, and that's not a good thing a lot of times. Keep the lines of communication open. Dr. Eshelman recommends setting aside certain times when your child knows what that you'll check in with them. Maybe it's in a car ride from the school, or during dinner, or at bedtime. Whatever time works for you and your family is fine. The important thing is creating space and time where your child can expect you'll ask about how they're doing. It always comes back to communication, Dr. Esselman said. Hopefully, most of the time, nothing's going on. But then, if something major might happen online or at school or wherever, they know they'll have a space to talk about it. Talk with others. You're far from alone in wondering how to talk with your kids about internet safety and what steps are appropriate. It's a question parents everywhere are asking. So in a few minutes, I'll get back on here, and if somebody respond to y'all's comments, and then if somebody wants to get up here and we talk about something, feel free. Dr. Escherman says talking with other parents, healthcare providers, teachers, and others can help you get new insights and ideas. Ask about how or if they're restricting certain sites? Do they institute certain times of the day as internet free? What are the latest trends and apps that the kids are into? What worries do they have about them? How did they decide when it was time for their child to have their own phone? I know my grandkids, they like Roblox and things like that. And I said, son, there's a chat thing on it and everything. So please be careful of that. He said, well, I done spoke to them and so they don't go and chat or listen to. So that's a good thing, So they're playing and not going to go ahead and correlate to the other people there. That's good at the moment. Let's face it. Give yourself some grace. The internet is big, complicated, and changing all the time. Chances are you're not going to think of everything and shield your child 100%. Might your child accidentally watch a news report that scares them? Yes. Could they find a stranger on a gaming platform? Possibly. But that's another idea. Please don't tell, like if your child does chat, please don't let them tell their age. If somebody asks their age, whether they're really a boy or girl, where they live, please don't let them give out personal, private information, okay? Where they go to school, such as all that. It happens. Try to give yourself some leeway. Parents are more stressed than ever, Dr. Eshelman recognizes. Sometimes things seem pretty simple, but in reality, they're not easy. These are goals. Be kind to yourself and try your best. That's all we can ever do. So, what y'all think about that information? Did y'all like that pretty good? I'm going to give the link again if somebody wants to come up in the box. So, please feel free to come up. What do you think about that, Jackie? Did you like that information? And like this other site, it's got best tips for better internet safety for kids and teens. Let's see what this. The federal government, they have laws like the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act to protect kids when online. COPPA applies to children younger than 13 and requires websites and games to explain their privacy policies and get parental consent before collecting or using a child's personal information. Let me share that site with y'all. Okay. Busy cleaning your bedroom. That's okay. It's all right. So let's go over here. The best tips. See, there's Children's Online Privacy Act right here. Protect kids when online. COPPA applies to children younger than 13. I think uh, it needs to go higher than that. Internet safety rules for kids and the rest of the family. Because I don't think, look at there, it says to protect kids when online. COPPA applies to children younger than 13 and requires websites and games to explain their privacy policies and get parental consent. Well, how come just 13 and younger? How come it's not older than that? Internet safety rules for kids and the rest of the family. There are many cyber safety tips parents should know, but digital safety doesn't stop there. Every family member has to play their part in creating a cyber safe household. Even if you already know the information, kids are becoming digital citizens at a young age, whether they're learning virtually, watching videos, or playing games. So it's never too early to acquaint them with internet safety. You need to teach your kids about the dangers of the internet, how to protect your identity. So don't give your real name either, okay? Make up a fictitious name. Creating strong passwords. Not engaging with strangers in person or online. keeping social media accounts private, being careful about what they post, especially putting personal photos up. That is one of the worst things that you could do. Like, for instance, when I did that story earlier, and that was a guy at church in Nashville, Tennessee, at Antioch Church of Christ. And I'm glad that uh, Google caught it, and it was he put child pictures, porno pictures, exploiting a child, and he did it while he was at work, using the works IP address at a college, and he got he was let go and everything. He's now in jail with $40,000 bond. He went to church and he touched a young girl inappropriately, and he admitted that he had a desire for young children. Know the dangers of the internet. When it comes to cybersecurity, kids are often one of your family's weakest links because they usually don't understand the dangers of the internet. Well, you don't need to get into all the specifics of online predators. Teaching them to recognize the sources of malware and avoid suspicious activity are important first steps in keeping them safe. Because recognizing danger is an ongoing process, encouraging them to ask for help if something seems unusual. If they know you're there, they may be more likely to seek you out when they have questions. Bonus tip: don't try to cram every possible danger of the internet into a single conversation. Instead, as your kids earn more freedom online, expand your discussion to include things to look out for specifically related to new privileges. Protect your identity. People make themselves vulnerable to identity theft by disclosing personal information online because they believe they have nothing to lose. Scammers can trick people into disclosing their social security number and other details that they can use to commit identity theft. A child's identity can have as much value as an adult's identity. Remind children not to reveal too much information about themselves, especially their date of birth, their address, social security number, phone number, or the school. Choose strong passwords. Passwords are the primary defense against hackers. Yet many people reuse the same password for multiple accounts and use passwords that are easy to remember and therefore are also easy to guess. What I started doing, I got me a booklet that I have near me, and for the different sites, I put what my email that I use for the site, and I put my password for that site. Therefore, I can always refer back to that notebook for the passcodes, okay? So you need to be sure not to use the same passwords in all the different websites in case one place gets hacked, all these other places going to get hacked as well, and that's not a good thing, okay? Teach your kids create a hack-proof password by using common words, phrases, or personal information like a phone number or by never using, okay? By never using like a phone number or family member's name. Teach them to create a combination of at least 12 characters, including uppercase and lowercase numbers. So y'all think about this yourselves, okay? Create passwords that's got uppercase and lowercase letters, okay? Numbers and symbols. Setting up a shared password manager can help you and your kids create and store better passwords safely. See the importance? That's what you make sure to have a strong password. That's what stronger passwords are: uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. So please remember that even as adults, we need to make sure. Setting up a shared password manager can help you and your kids create and store better passwords safely. Like it says right here, uppercase, lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols. Do not engage in strangers offline. You're probably already introduced the idea to your kids that strangers can be potentially dangerous. Remind them strangers are on the internet too. It's important to teach children at a young age to be cautious online and tell an adult if someone they don't know communicates with them or makes them uncomfortable. Keep your social media accounts private. Social media can also attract cyber snoops and identity thieves. Keep all social media accounts private and only add people that you know. Some other social media best practices for kids include never meet in person anyone they met online. Telling an adult if a stranger is messaging them. Not taking social media quizzes, they can be a form of phishing. Also, you need to tell your kids that, okay, I'm not going to be writing you on this account, or if I write you on this account, this is my name I'll be writing you from. So if somebody else tries to present yourself as being your daddy, so they won't believe, hey, this is your daddy's account. But you yourself go to your kid and tell them so that therefore they know, right? Additional internet safety for teens and older kids. Although many teens are more tech savvy than their parents, that doesn't mean they have the right decision making skills or access to tools that can help protect them online. Help keep your tweens and teens cyber safe by introducing them to the following internet safety tips. Now, I think it's kind of funny that I know I mentioned that about the father thing because I actually had some people thinking that I was so stupid. They said, "Hey, Mama, how you doing?" Like, who are you? He said, "This is your son. Don't you recognize me?" I said, "You're not my son." So there's people online that would try to use and try to tell you, "Hey, this is your kid," and you know your kids' profiles and all this kind of stuff. So we know better than that, right? So teach your teens about shopping online for secure stores. Well, I won't let my teens or my kids, I wouldn't let them shop online without me doing it because I want to make sure they don't buy something that we really couldn't afford, right? Using a password manager, not oversharing, avoiding public Wi Fi, closing unused accounts, recognizing phishing attempts. A lot of people go to Wi Fi like McDonald's and use their public Wi Fi, and that could easily be hacked into from somebody else sitting there. Okay, that's why they're saying that, right? Shop online only from secure sites. Whether teens are allowed to shop online, it is up to the parents. However, teens listening to this guidance is another story. Teach your teen how to recognize secure websites and shop safely online by checking for an SSL certificate. Secure URLs should have HTTPS at the beginning. Y'all notice that? Secure URLs should have HTTPS. Navigate directly to online stores. Use a search engine, but don't click on links in text or emails. Shop safely online. Always navigate directly to an online store and look for an SSL certificate. Use a password manager. Bolster your password protection with a password manager, which can remember unique passwords for all your accounts. Best of all, you only need to remember one password with the password manager. But see, I don't know how good that is because if Google's keeping my passwords or something like that, let's hope or pray, that. So I'm not going to very recommend that. Don't overshare. Everyone needs to know how much sharing is too much. Posting without considering the consequences could cause big problems in the real world. For example, a driver's license or a travel itinerary shared online could be valuable to identity thieves or burglars. Personal or inappropriate photos can attract online predators. Inappropriate posts and pictures could affect future educational or employment opportunities. There was one time a doctor's office took a picture of me, right? And I was embarrassed about my teeth, and so I had my hand over my mouth a certain way. I never got to see the picture, but I remember what I was wearing and stuff, right? Then got a letter from the doctor's office saying our account's been hacked. Next thing I know, somebody from this old account called High Five, hey, you got a twin sister, somebody that can pass as you. You go and check it out. And they gave me the person's link and all that. And I went over there, and I mean, dog, it was that picture that they had from the doctor's office. So that hacker, whatever, used my picture from the doctor's office and created a profile. Okay. Go private on public Wi Fi. There are many risks of connecting to public Wi Fi networks, hackers, and cyber criminals. Consider public Wi Fi common at malls and coffee shops, an easy access point to get hold of your data. For this reason, always use a VPN when connected to public Wi Fi. Don't have a VPN? Try to hold off on browsing the internet until you're home. Close unused accounts. Unused accounts can be a rich source of personal information for cybercriminals. Even if the information seems old or outdated, it can be valuable in the hands of a scammer. They can use it to log in and steal information from other sites you use. They may even be able to use that information to create a synthetic identity to scam others. If you think you won't be revisiting a site, close the account. Watch out for phishing. You may be sophisticated enough to know not to click on a URL that looks like it's from your bank or a friend, but are your kids? Teaching your kids about the different kinds of phishing scams and warning them to not click on URLs in an email or social network message can help reduce the likelihood of identity theft. Well, a friend of mine, I used to be at a site called SyncSnap, and that's the karaoke part, okay? And it was pretty fun and exciting. So a friend had sent me a couple ladies singing at SingSnap. So I went over there yesterday and clicked on it and tried to create an account. Well, then when I clicked on Start Now after I done signed in, oh man, that big box thing said your computer is hijacked now. You call um, all this kind of stuff. Um, and I shut my computer down immediately. I cut it right back on, and that was still there. Um, then I left it off, shut it down, left it off for a while, come back to it, and it showed my other windows there, which it didn't previously. Okay. So I still seen that box, which had that. So all I had to do was click off the X at the top of the screen. I ran a scan on my computer and everything, and yes, it did embed hacking software. So this reputable site that I liked going to sing karaoke at, and actually, when you clicked on start here, start now, which you assume that start singing now, then all of a sudden it caused this problem. So be careful, even with trusted sites. Okay. Keep privacy settings on. Web browsers, mobile operating systems, and social media channels all have settings to protect your privacy. Still, it's up to you to adjust them to fit your family's needs. Play it safe and keep privacy settings on. Parents should adjust kids' devices accordingly. Set up safe search for kids on browsers and teach teens how to keep their settings on and set them up properly. More internet safety tips for the whole family. Even if you're a very savvy and safety conscious parent, it doesn't hurt to review your safety practices and learn new ways of protecting yourself online. Where you have better habits, you can teach your children to have better habits. Also, there's also a few apps that a parent, somebody could download, and they hide some of the things that you can go into. And so parents beware and learn some of these others. So when you click on something on your kid's phone and you check it, make sure you click on everything because that fact is it could that thing you're clicking on could have that hidden information which your child is trying to hide from you about some personal information what they don't really want to divulge and they really need protected from. So be sure you do that. Be careful what you download. With more than a billion websites worldwide, it's no secret that some have malicious intent. A malicious website is a site that attempts to install malware on your device, meaning anything that will disrupt computer operations, gather your personal information, or allow unauthorized access to your machine. This usually requires some action, but there's also drive-by downloads, where a website tries installing software on your computer without asking for permission. There's common malware symptoms, strange ads or pop-up windows, computer acting sluggish, sudden lack of storage space, and keep devices updated. It's very important. And I didn't upload my virus protection software until yesterday. So spend time online together, hold family members accountable for their internet safety practices, and support one another when someone faces a precarious online situation. As parents, that means you monitor your kids' behavior and show an interest in what they're doing so you can educate them on whether they're safe. Keep things transparent by placing desktop computers in a common area, discouraging kids from playing with tablets in their rooms. Spend time online together by having an online family game night. Internet safety tips for parents. There's some computer safety tools and best practices that the kids simply don't need to worry about. Review these safety tips to ensure your home is cyber safe. Understand privacy policies. Confirm what's needed for schoolwork with their teachers. So check with your teachers. Check permissions. Different apps and devices prioritize safety differently, which is why checking permission settings is so important. Disable location tracking by default for maximum security. Don't share metadata with developers. Don't let apps access or make changes to online profiles. Don't let apps use microphones and cameras by default. Limit what virtual assistants can do. That's why I don't use my virtual assistant. Back up data regularly. Keep your internet connection secure. So cyber criminals can hack home routers and gain access to various internet connected devices like home security systems and smart doorbells, even your TV. Hard to crack passwords, cybersecurity software that identifies intruders by your network, a VPN is to ensure your internet connection is secure. Know how to manage location data. Removing geodata and other metadata from photos can help protect your privacy too. When your family member gets a new device, make sure you turn off these settings for safer photo sharing. Secure smart home devices. I know some people are complaining that when they take a picture, it's always showing up on Facebook. Check your settings to make sure all your photos are not going over to Facebook. Only don't let them have that full access, okay? Monitor online activities, block certain features on apps, track their location, backup the data, manage screen time. Okay. Use 2FA for added security, which is two-factor authentication. Okay. Install a comprehensive cybersecurity suite, and I'm glad with the uh, company I have internet services with, um, they provide that. Thank God. Limit screen time and distractions. Get help protecting every member of the family. Okay. Install comprehensive security software, monitor online activity, keep privacy settings on, check permissions, keep everyone's devices updated, keep your internet connection secure, backup data, photos, and videos regularly. Use 2FA For added protection, when in doubt, call tech support. Secure smart home devices. Confirm what computers devices are needed for school. Understand privacy policies. Know how to manage location data and spend family time together online. Okay, so I think that's pretty well rounded in that. Good morning there, Nan. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So I hope this helps anybody. If anybody wants to get up, feel free. I hope this has helped some people in knowing more on internet safety. Even the fact that, like, I clicked on that link yesterday, and I knew that that site, like I said, I'd been on there years ago, and I could not believe that when I clicked on Start Now that that happened to me, that it downloaded, and it was scary. Y'all all know about that when it says call Microsoft. That we're gonna, you need to call us, Microsoft, whatever. No, 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 that was a scam. That was a hack to try to get into my computer. I knew that, um, but I shut it off immediately. The bad thing is when it came back on, it was still there, like I said, and then I uh, kept it off for longer. And then when I restarted, all these bars, like at the top, like is that there now? Let me show y'all. Oops, if you can see the top of my screen when I share this again. So okay, so when I shared like all at the top of the screen right here, the first two times it just kept it open over here from that same snap name that had that Microsoft security thing. So I just kept cutting it off. And then when I left it off for a while and turned it back on, then all these were back up, right? So then I was able to go over here and click on that where that bad thing was and exit off, and I got rid of it. But I still had to do the scan on my computer to get rid of the virus in itself. Thank y'all so much, and I hope this has helped someone. And please keep a check on what your children are doing. They might say what they're doing, but you need to also say, well, let me see it, let's discuss some things. Oh, you got a good sense of humor, give them good insight, give them positive feedback, let them know that you're not being nosy, but it's your job as a parent to keep them safe, all right? It's your job as a parent. Some kids are going to fuss and fight. They don't want you to know that they're doing this kind of things, but you don't want your kid to be another victim or statistic, okay? You don't need that at all. So thank y'all. God bless y'all.